We are going to talk about Gradebook now. When you open a course, you'll find the Gradebook in the left-hand side of the screen. This is one of my courses and one of my groups. Now here I will find my students. I just hid their names for this video. And here in gray you're gonna find the grades for the year and for the quarter that you are looking into now. To change from group to group or section to section, you're gonna use this arrow here. And here you're gonna change the grading period to see the grades in the different quarters or semesters. Here, the all categories, you can decide to view only major grades, only minor grades, exams, or all categories at a time. So for example, if you end up with a bunch of grades, like for example, I'm going to change the quarter for quarter 2. Here I have a bunch of grades and I want to check only major grades, for example. So it's an easy way to do that. Now we're going back to quarter 4. You can decide how to display your assignments here. And this is something very convenient because it can highlight the cells that you wanna spot very quickly. So for example, this new sign here that says missing and gives the student a 0, it's very convenient if you want the student to see that he is missing the assignment. However, when you go to Power Teacher, it won't transfer correctly and you'll have to overwrite this 0. So if you end up with a lot of grades and you have a lot of cells, not to go one by one looking, you can just say, I want to know which ones are missing, and it's going to show very easily. So you're going to clear that and then you're going to do it manually. I'm going to leave it as it was for now. Now, which other things are we going to find here in the cells? In this little flag, we're going to find excused. That's going to leave the grade blank to the student, so it won't affect in a good or bad way. You can also say incomplete. The same, it's not going to give a grade to the student, so it's not going to lower or pull up their grade. And you can say missing and it will give a 0 automatically. I'm going to take it out, take it away. If you want to leave a comment for that grade, you can do it here. So you can write whatever. I'm going to say missing just to say something. And you can leave it like that just for you, or you can make it visible to the student. And it will show like that. So you can view it and review it again. You can remove it, and then you have cleared it. Other signs that you will find in the gradebook is this. This is whenever the student makes a submission to the assignment, it will show like that. If you click on that icon, it's gonna lead you to the document itself that they sent to their submission, and there you can grade it. If you wanna know how to grade these submissions, there is another video that you can find in the website under the check submissions section. So we close it now. Another symbol that you can find is this puzzle symbol. So this is the test that we do in Schoology, and it will show right here, and you have direct access if you click on it. Let's do that. Well, here are how the results are gonna look like. For example, this student made 5 different submissions of the test. Here you can view the answers for that test and you can comment on any question. But if you want to see a little bit more on test, there's also a video under the test section that you can check. The important thing about Gradebook in here is sometimes students may have trouble when they submit tests. So you may want to delete it. You can do that just here, and it will delete the submission. And then it will average, or whatever the settings that you had for the test was, it will do that automatically. But the important thing about this is that, for example, let's say that there's one student that didn't take it. You want to give him a 0, right? If you write the 0 here, then if the student goes and takes it, if you don't clear the override, it will keep the 0. So keep that into account, and you want to clear the override again. So for example, this student, I gave him an override, okay, and it marks 0. And now the student has taken the test, but if I don't clear that override, it won't show the grade that he got. Let's clear the override and see what happens. See? Now it gives him the correct grade that he obtained in his test. Well, let's continue. Here you can also use this plus sign to add more assignments, test quiz, or discussions. You don't need to go into course materials and then create it from there. If you are in Gradebook, you can do it from here. The only thing is that if you are doing it from Gradebook, it will not be in the folder that you want if you have a setting for folders in your material. So you may want to go back and check your materials and then move the assignment that you created in Gradebook into the corresponding folder. Well, this is also interesting to know. For example, the bulk edit is going to help us if we have some problem in Power Teacher when we sync the grades. This will definitely help us. Let's go into that. This is going to show all the assignments that we can easily count, and also the factor that we assigned for each assignment. Remember that when you make the settings in Schoology, they don't automatically send to Power Teacher in some cases. So if you change the factor for some of the assignments, you want to be careful, and you want to go to Power Teacher and you want to make the changing in all the groups. You can also see the dates when it was created, and sometimes there is a problem with Power Teacher because it's in a different quarter. You made the setting wrong. So this can easily give you all the information that you need to check that syncing. If you want to print reports, you'll have to select your grading period, but if you scroll down, you can also find your students and print the report individually. Now I selected the grading period. I want to have a full report of these students, and it shows like that. I marked one of the students, for example. However, there is not any printing button that I can see in Schoology. So if I scroll all the way down, there's nothing. So what I do is I just click Ctrl P, and it shows like that. So the only thing I have to do is save the report, and then you can print normally. You can also access to individual students' reports and statistics by clicking here. Another thing that I also use is this, export. And I use this to compare my grades to see if they are the same in Power Teacher and Schoology before the reports are printed for students. I click on this and say next, and it will open an Excel document with the overall grades, the quarter grades, and I just have to click on the ones that I want to compare. I copy, I paste it in another document, and then I do the same with the Power Teacher, and that's a very easy way to check which ones are the same, or if there is some of them that I have to change or review. Well, and one more symbol that you may find in the Gradebook is the rubric. When you add a rubric, apparently it's inexistent here, but it's there. So for example, I have one rubric for this assignment, and it's going to show like that. I have to put the mouse on it, and then it will show. If you want to learn how to create rubrics for your assignments, there's also a video for you available in the rubric section. And now it's syncing time. Well, unfortunately, not always does the auto-syncing work, so we need to be careful and we need to go back and sync from time to time. And we have to do that manually. Well, you'll notice that in front of my assignments, I also have a number and a slash. I do this because computers are set, like the numbers are the first to appear before the letters if you order them. So the 0 is going to be the first to show, and then number 1, number 2, and so on and so forth. So I started using Gradebook this year and Schoology this year, so I didn't realize at the beginning when I started doing all this grading thing in Schoology. So my quarter 4 assignments are only with letters, and I didn't put any numbers to that. But then when I entered the quarter 2 assignments, then they were all messed up, and it was very confusing for me. So I came up with this idea of, let's see if the numbers work, and for me they do. So you can do something like that, and here you just have to sync. You don't have to wait for one to sync in order to click on the rest. And this will mark that they have synced correctly. Then you have to check the date and see if they synced. And if you have more than one page of assignments, you'll have to scroll down and move to the next page. See, these were my quarter 3 assignments. These were my quarter 2 assignments, and my quarter 1 assignments with no number. Well, and this is finally a nice reminder saying that if you have to make any change, you have to make it in Schoology and then sync to PowerSchool, because if you do it in PowerSchool, it won't show or reflect in Schoology. If you have any other tips or ideas on how to use Gradebook or sync in a different way, you can also share with us in the comment box that you will find in the website. Bye.